So I think I'm in the process of getting ripped off of $650.
Maximalist Minibus with Mary and Ryder and you. Get on the bus!
I really hope I'm not, because I can't afford to get ripped off $650. I need a new phone. My phone is barely working anymore for anything. It's not useful as a phone. It doesn't shoot good video anymore. I need a new phone. So I was gonna buy one online and it was so expensive and I just kept hesitating and I couldn't pull the trigger. So I thought, let me look on Facebook, because I've bought phones off of Craigslist and Facebook before and had no problems with them. I've never had any problems. So I see this guy selling an iPhone 16, which is what I want. And I text him and we go back and forth, and then I say, okay, when can we meet? But see, something's loose back there. But see, I thought he was in Flagstaff. It turns out he was in Winslow. So I said, will you meet me halfway? And he was hesitant about it, you know, and he said he had to go to work, and I don't have a lot of time to get away because I have to be at the campground all the time, you know. So I told him I'd give him an extra $50 if he met me halfway. And he was like, okay, let's do it. He picked a spot, and then he said, well, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure you're serious. It's a long way to go. He's basically, I don't know. He talked me into, but I almost kind of talked myself into paying him in advance on Cash App. He hasn't blocked me on Facebook, so that's a good sign, but he's completely ghosted me. And I said, okay, did you receive it? No response. No response, no response, no response. And I finally decided maybe he's not responding because he's driving to the spot. But I think he would be there by now, and he still hasn't contacted me. But I'm driving there just in case. But if I get to the other side of Flagstaff and this dude doesn't respond to me, then that means he stole my $650. And here's this whole thing. I asked him, why are you selling it? He said he had to make rent. For all I know, it's stolen, you know, but he said, oh no, I use it on US Mobile. Everything about him seemed real and legit, you know. He didn't seem like he was going to rip me off. But the transaction isn't listed as pending, it's listed as completed, so he received the money. So to receive the money and not send a message back that says you received the money, who the hell does that? You know, so now I'm racing to the spot because he said he had to be to work at 3. I won't even get there till 3:30 at this point. So he said that if he couldn't go, his wife could go. So maybe his wife's going, but we didn't even make any arrangements about what car he's in or what I'm driving or anything. So I don't know what's going on. I think I just got ripped off. This is one of those. This is a learn from my mistakes. That's why I make them thing, except I didn't make it so you could learn. Okay, I'll check back in with you when I get there, or if he contacts me. This is the exit. I'm here, but he isn't. At least I don't think he is, because he's still not saying anything. I've been thinking about why I paid him that money. I mean, it's not like me. I'm usually pretty cautious about stuff like this. I wouldn't have considered this a definite enough plan to drive all this way out here if I hadn't already paid him that money. But I did pay him, and I've been trying to figure out why I did it. I was so desperate to get a phone, but I mean, I don't think that's the only thing. I think it all comes down to people pleasing. It really does. I wanted that guy who was selling the phone, this Brandino he calls himself, I wanted him to feel like I trusted him. That's why I sent him the money, but why? Why did I care if he thought I trusted him? I mean, obviously he doesn't care how I feel, or he wouldn't have ghosted me after I paid him all that money. And now I'm messaging him, and I know he's getting the messages because Facebook is showing that little circle, and that means he read it, but he's choosing not to answer. So why was it so important to me for this random guy to think that I trusted him, when the truth is that I don't really trust him? It's people pleasing. It's a big problem. He should have been here by now. He's the one that picked the place. And I think this is closer to him than it is to me. Plus, I didn't even leave right away. But I'm messaging him, and it's still crickets. I should have never sent that Cash App. I tried right away to cancel it, but it didn't come up as pending. It went to completed almost instantly. So he got the money. Couldn't he just say, oh, thanks, got it? He was real quick to pick up that $650, but he can't spend 2 seconds to give me some peace of mind to say, okay, I received the money, and so that I know he's not a thief? Maybe because he is. He's obviously not like a professional, a full-on scammer, because he would have immediately shut down that profile and blocked me on Facebook if he was. And he didn't do any of that. The listing seemed totally legit. I talked to the guy, texted with him, and he seemed legit. I looked at his profile. It seemed legit. He's had the same profile since 2011. So, yeah, I definitely let my guard down. My rule has always been, I don't buy anything if I haven't talked to the person on the phone, and I didn't do that this time. And then he said, oh, you can trust me. Here's my address and date of birth. But what am I going to do with that? I don't even know if it's real. And then what am I going to do? Go to Winslow and hunt him down, or go to the police and tell him what? That I sent a stranger a chunk of money without having anything in my hand? They're just going to tell me I'm stupid and send me home. Because I am stupid. I sent this guy $650. So Brandino finally responded. The last message that I sent him said, I'm at the gas station. I see that you've seen my messages. I don't know what you look like or what you're driving. So if you are here, please respond. And now it's like 10 minutes after that last message. And he says, bing, out of the blue. Yes, I am sorry. I am running a little behind as my crossover is overheating. I am coming. I promise you that. So his crossover overheated. I didn't even know what a crossover was. I had to ask Sarah. It's a car, like an SUV, in case you didn't know. But I'm probably the only person who didn't know in the whole world. But anyway, it's no excuse for not responding at all to anything for almost 2 hours. But at least he's coming. At least he's real. So I went inside the truck stop to poke around a little, and I went to the ladies' room, and I discovered that they actually have a little bottling plant in there where they put out this soda called Navajo Fizz. I'm not a big soda drinker, but I got a can of their Pinion Nut root beer, and it was awesome. I can't tell you if it tastes like Pinion Nuts or not, because I don't know what Pinion Nuts taste like, but the root beer was awesome. I expected him to be there by the time I finished drinking it, but then he sends me this. Can we possibly meet tomorrow? I'll come all the way to Flag. I'm having car issues and was just tired from my job. And I'm like, no, first of all, I'm not even in Flag. I'm 30 miles south of Flag. Are you going to come all the way to Mormon Lake? I doubt it. I don't think so. And I just drove all the way here. And I already paid you. So, no. And he says, okay, but I haven't left yet. I will be leaving in the next 15 minutes. Now, keep in mind, we last spoke close to 2 hours ago, and he hasn't left yet. Next message says, if you can wait, I apologize, but I had to pay rent. So wait. The story was he's late because he broke down. Now the story is he's late because he went to pay his rent before he came. Also, he's so tired from work. Before he said he was going to work at 3 p.m. and it's like 4:15 and he's so tired from work. And he couldn't have told me he was going to go pay rent. That's all he had to do, like type a quick note. Hey, I'm going to go pay my rent first. And at least I would have known what was going on. Well, his answer to that is he had to rush to pay it and he didn't have time to message me because at 3:30 he'd have had to pay a late charge. I'm so glad I sent him money so that Brandino could avoid a late charge. Now he says he's 30 miles away, so I guess he'll be here in 30 to 45 minutes, so I have some time to kill. Some more time to kill, I should say. As it turns out, this travel plaza is part of the Twin Arrows Casino, so it has slot machines. That's something I'm going to avoid. But it also has washers and dryers and $12 showers. And those are two of the things on my errand list to get done. The shower is twice the price of the Aquaplex, but it's right here. I could have crossed those things off my list while I was waiting, but maybe I can do it after, because now he's coming in less than half an hour, supposedly. It's now 5:30. It's been an hour and 20 minutes since the last communication, and he supposedly was half an hour away at that point. So I sent him this message. I said, can you just give me a time when you'll be here? If you could give me a time, I could try to get something else done. No response. But then he starts sharing his location, which is weird. So now I'm watching him slowly drive toward me on his location sharing. I'll tell you honestly, I'm pretty sure that what happened is this guy didn't intend to rip anybody off, but then I sent him the money. And when he saw that in his account, he seriously contemplated just taking it. But now he has thought about the consequences and he's decided that he better show up and give me the phone. I think that's what the delays were actually about. But maybe I will end up getting a phone out of this. It looks like he's actually here from the location sharing, but I'm looking out and I don't see anything that would look anything like a crossover or anybody who looks like the guy from Facebook. Oh, that was weird. I was expecting kind of a big guy from the pictures I saw on Facebook. Brandon doesn't really have a profile picture, but I was able to do a little digging around, and I thought I had a pretty good idea of what Brandon was going to look like. But then I opened the door, and there was this scrawny dude with longish curly hair, and he's standing there, and he holds out a phone, and I'm like, "Hey, Brandon, so glad to see you." But he's like, "I'm not Brandon. Brandon just told me to give you this. And whatever went on between you and Brandon is between you and Brandon." And I'm like, "Where's Brandon?" And he says, "Oh, he's in the car." So I look over, and at the gas pump, there's a car, and it's just a little white car. It's not a crossover or whatever. Just a little white car. And I'm like, I waited 3 hours for him, and he's not going to get out of the car. And the kid says, "Well, what's the difference? You got the phone. That's what you paid for." So I looked at the phone, and it's on the Apple screen, you know, the one that says hello in a bunch of different languages. So I know that he's already reset it. I bought a lot of electronics from random strangers before, you know, laptops, phones, whatever, and they don't just hand it to you already in reset mode. You have to test it out, you know, make sure it works, all that. And you can't do that if it's already in reset mode. So usually they give you the phone, check it out. For example, make sure the camera's working, which is the most important thing to me. And then they do the reset. That's how it's done. But I guess that's not how it's done when you've already given the person $650. I mean, what if I said, no, it's not like he has the money to refund me. He already spent it on rent. So I go over to the car to talk to Brandon, but this kid is like running interference. There's no getting to Brandon, you know, and there's a woman driving the car. Brandon's in the back seat. The windows are tinted. He's sitting back there like the Wizard of Oz or something. Finally, I just made them give me their charging cord because the phone was basically dead when the guy handed it to me, and then they took off. So I got the phone. I'm shooting with it, and I'm headed back to camp. I got a shower too, but that was weird. So, surprise, surprise, this phone is not what he said it was at all. It's described in the listing as 4 months old in like new condition, but yeah, no. It's got a ton of scratches on the screen once you take off the crappy screen protector that he had on there in the picture. And then there's a little bit of cracking on the screen in the upper corner, and on the bottom corner in the back, you know, it's definitely been dropped on that corner because it's banged up, it's cracked, and there are spider cracks coming out from it. And then there are also scratches around what I call the eyeballs of the camera. So it's not remotely in like new condition, but it works, the camera works, and that is the most important thing. I did get the phone. I didn't exactly get ripped off, unless you count, I mean, the false advertising and also all the time he stole from me. But I don't know if the next person's going to do quite that well because he has the listing, he still has it up, but he has, I guess, a different phone. He changed it to a iPhone 16 Pro instead of a Pro Max, which is what this is. But again, he's listing it as 4 months old in like new condition, and it's the same photos as were in the listing that I saw, that I bought this one off of. So obviously, he's lying at least a little bit. And it bums me out because I didn't really want a Pro Max. I actually wanted an iPhone 16 Pro. So if I was going to be strung along like that, I would really rather it have been that phone instead of this one. Not to mention that that one's $100 cheaper. Except, does that phone, I mean, this one does, but does the other phone really exist? I couldn't resist doing a little bit of reconnaissance work, so I messaged him about it from another profile to see if he would actually set up a meeting with my fake buyer, and he did, which would indicate that the phone is real, but of course my buyer didn't show up. Sorry about that, Brandino. Now you know what it feels like to get ghosted. So I already started editing the video that I shot, while I was buying the phone. And I decided to go through the text messages between me and Brandino in the process of putting that together. And I came across this text message where he was asking to meet the following day. And he said, I'm having car issues and I just got tired from my job. And I remember being sort of confused by that because he said he was going to work at 3 and here was only 4 and he's saying he's tired from his job. But then I thought, what if he typed this wrong? Because the F is right below the T. What if what he meant to say is that he got fired from his job? If this guy got fired, then that would explain everything. It would explain why he wasn't responding because he was busy getting fired. And it would explain why he didn't want to get out of the car to face me because he was already having a really bad day and he knew that I would be angry, which I was. But yeah, I mean, I started to feel bad and I felt like maybe I should have been kinder, and I mean, if this guy just got fired, then I should have been kinder to him, but I didn't really know that he did get fired. I mean, I don't know that he typed in a T instead of an F, although it does make sense that he would. Maybe he just has weird sentence structure. I don't know. But then again, even if he did get fired, what am I supposed to do? I paid him $650. Am I now supposed to console him by going home to Mormon Lake with no phone? No, it's people pleasing again. So no, I'm done. Brandino, I wish you well. And I'm going to make the best of this phone. I think I'm going to have to put it in a pretty hardcore case to keep that back from cracking more. But yeah, the camera works. I'm going to use the camera. I'm going to get what I can out of it. And I'm going to remember that when you do a Facebook transaction, you have to turn off your people pleasing. But when Mary asks you to watch a video, you need to turn it back on. Watch this video, please, for me. I'll meet you over there.
Get on the bus.